this video, we'll be taking a look at the Hot Toys Artillery Stormtrooper. This is an action figure I've been eyeing for about 2 years now at this point, and I finally got around to getting him. Managed to get him on sale directly through Sideshow, and between the sale price and all the rewards points I've had built up, I managed to get him for just a little bit over $100. So not too bad for these. I think this guy usually goes for maybe $230 or so. Not too bad. At the time I initially started eyeing him, I was debating between him and the Stormtrooper Commander, which I'll show off here in a little bit. And I went ahead and got the Stormtrooper Commander at the time because for a first Stormtrooper from Hot Toys, I would rather get a more basic one. I figure if the opportunity presents itself down the road, I'll get a few more. And that day has finally come. So we'll take a closer look at the package there. As you can see, our Artillery Stormtrooper. There's an image of the figure there with the mortar. I prefer to call these guys like mortar stormtroopers instead. So these show up in the Mandalorian series. I think it's season 2. I think this is in the episode where Boba Fett initially reveals himself to the Mandalorian himself. Not sure if they've showed up in anything else besides that. Besides that one particular scene. I already have them out of the box. I have to say that I'm even more impressed by the Hot Toys version here than I am the Hasbro offerings. I don't have the Black Series Artillery Stormtrooper. I missed out on that. I think that was one of those examples of it went up for pre-order and then it was gone within minutes, and then just never really went up for pre-order again. And then after that, once the pre-orders were sold out, allegedly, it seemed like the prices were really expensive on the Black Series version after that, like $40 or $50 for it. And I do have the Vintage Collection version reviewed on the channel, if you want to check that out. Move this to the side for now. And that's a really nice image there. And we'll go ahead and move the Stormtrooper to his spot. And this looks really nice. After having him in hand, I'm glad I went ahead and decided to get him. We'll bring out his mortar here. Which is definitely much more detailed. It has a lot more parts to it compared to the Hasbro version. I know the thermal detonator he's holding there isn't the one pictured there, but to me that one looks more accurate for a mortar shell. Of course, those are the thermal detonators, which we never really see those shot through a mortar. To me, that doesn't seem like that'd be a good idea because thermal detonators are really deadly, and then when they explode at that close of a range, I'm not sure. Some of his extra gear here. We'll look at the instruction manual here first. Not a whole lot to say about it. Showing off his backpack here, how it's equipped. At least 3 of these here are permanently attached, as far as I can tell. And thermal detonator he's holding there. You can put those on the backpack right here. Which I do have the other one on his backpack. Shows him holding with one of his alternative hands, but it does work with that one as well. And then you put his main thermal detonator in the back of the belt there, and kind of showing off the motor there. Various languages. So we'll look at some of the accessories first. As far as Hot Toys figures go, he's very light. But he really doesn't need a whole lot anyway. We'll look at his display base here first. It's the one where you hold him up by the crotch. The artillery Stormtrooper nameplate there. It does have an environmental base. The Stormtrooper commander comes with a more detailed one where it actually has the footprints in it where you're supposed to put his feet. This one's just totally flat. This feels kind of grainy, and you are able to take that off, and then you just have the standard gray Star Destroyer, Death Star looking platform to walk on. I'll probably have him stand on this. I have to have these stands. They're sometimes Hot Toys action figures don't stand up too well, or they might fall over. Rub off some of the paint on their nose. So here's a right hand here. I think this is supposed to be more for the thermal detonator. It doesn't come with E11 or anything like that, which I guess that is one thing that the vintage collection figure has up on this one. And it would make sense, even though these guys are carrying motors around, they would have at least a pistol or E11 or something. And pretty much the same thing for this. This thumb looks like it's supposed to go on top of that thermal detonator. One interesting thing about this Stormtrooper compared to some of the other ones I've seen for Hot Toys is they've done a lot of chipping away the paint for these, or for the artillery Stormtrooper here. As you can see, it does have some weathering mixed in with this, which is nice. Here we got an open palm. Left fist. And punch someone out, I guess. And a right fist, which I think they're thought this one was at a slightly different angle. And then, similar to most of the Hot Toys action figures, he does have some extra joints here in case any of yours break. I'm glad they include these. Fortunately, I haven't had to use any of them up until now, except for on Count Dooku. Not because his broke, but because I just can't seem to get the joint to separate from the hand, so the whole thing comes out with it. So I just took the spare and then use it for his alternative hands. When I show off Count Dooku in the feature, I will go into more detail as to what that means. Take a look at the mortar here. So like I said, there's a whole lot more going on with this thing compared to the Hasbro figures. Much more detailing, obviously. Much more articulation, too. Basically fold this thing up. So for the base here, it is articulated. You can move this up and down. I think this pin here, you can loosen it up and then be able to rotate it more if you so choose. Then for the legs here, you can fold them in and fold them in individually even. And they're pretty good about staying into place. There's a couple different angles you can get these at. You either have it all the way out, you can have it in just a little bit, maybe even there, and then fold it all the way down. I don't think there is a way where he can carry this on his backpack or anything, so he'll just have to carry this around everywhere he goes. Not a whole lot to see in the inside there. It does have the springs right here too for the legs. Let's take a closer look at this guy. So as I mentioned with the hands, he does have a lot of chipping and weathering involved on his armor here. As you can see, they even did it on the nose a little bit. Which is interesting. Here's the thermal detonator. Yeah, it's really nice they did a lot of that chipping away on the yellow paint there. Tell you've seen some action. It does have a yellow pauldron here, which is made of feels like rubber almost. Could very well be. I'm sure there is a way you can take this off. I've never actually taken the pauldrons off of this figure or the Stormtrooper Commander. Perhaps I'll do that at some point, or see if it is an option. So their hand there. And for his body armor there. Mine seems to be a little lopsided in a way. Been trying to fix it, and I think I got it a little bit better. It's not perfect. Still have to work with it some. It's nice I can actually get this guy in a crouching pose. That's really about the best I can do, though. At least with the 6 scale figures, they seem to accommodate better for a pose like that compared to a 3 3/4 inch or a 6-inch scale. The inside here of his bodysuit is cloth material. Same thing with that. Basically, it's at the joints. I'm sure around the neck too. We have his legs there, which has some nice weathering. Stand him up here for a second. Yeah, you can kind of see what I mean where his torso here is a little lopsided. Kind of like he's got scoliosis or something. See how detailed his armor is. Some weathering. And then we have his backpack here, which is magnetized. I think there's a magnet here and then a magnet here, seems to be. There's where the thermal detonators are stored. Just slide those in there. And they do have some soft material, so it doesn't scratch up the plastic or anything. Some detail in his backpack here, some of his supplies. Like I said, I think these extra thermal detonators here are just permanently in place. But you can't take the fourth one that he has right there and put it right here. He has this yellow canister here. Some detailing there. That stays in place pretty good. Haven't had any problems. Then the thermal detonator. Very nice detailing in this. Some grays and mostly white. It stays in place there well as well. Looks like he has a hole in the back of his armor there. I think that's supposed to be there. Just an interesting thing to note. Pull him on a stand here. Seems kind of wobbly, and I think he's going to end up falling over before it's over with. I would like to try one thing here. See how well we can hold on to this. at that. That looks really nice. And like I mentioned, we'll bring out the commander here real quick. Look at that. After having both of these in hand and having them side by side, I'm very glad I went ahead and got them. Do a separate video for the commander at some point. One thing I'll note, like I mentioned with the bases here, as you see it's much more detailed here, and he has the footprints there. This one's just totally flat. Much more environmental. Like having him in this pose here, like he's directing traffic or something like that. The way I have him visualized is maybe they've taken a lot of prisoners of war or something like that, and he's directing them this way. Anyways, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about the artillery stormtrooper here. Perhaps I'll do another video or two featuring him in the future. So would I recommend him for your collection? I would, and if you can take advantage of a sale, I would say go ahead and do that. Like I said, I've been eyeing him in stock for 2 years now, so he must not be selling through that fast. I think with a lot of these 12-inch action figures, they don't really, especially army builders, you're not going to army build these like you do the Hasbro action figures because they're so expensive and they take up a lot of space. So most people are probably not going to get more than one, maybe two. And at this point, we've gotten so many Stormtroopers from Hot Toys that we're probably not, or most people are probably not going to get much more than they already have. I think that will include me now. Perhaps I'll get like a Stormtrooper Commander would be nice from the Force Unleashed. And perhaps maybe just a plain Stormtrooper. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with this. I did miss out on the Incinerator Trooper. I was eyeing it for a time and then he ended up going out of stock. Maybe someday I'll track it down. We'll see. Probably not anytime soon. It's a solid action figure overall. Very happy I went ahead and got him. And I think he's going to look great in the collection. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. Always be more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.